in theory. All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to the virtual star party. We did it after 2 weeks of wildfires on the West Coast and various unfortunate circumstances. We're finally back with an all-new star party, and of course, it's good timing because now we're back to planetary season. So we've got Jupiter, Saturn, Mars at some point, the Moon, lots of deep sky objects as well coming your way. So hopefully, if I remember how this all works, we'll have a good show for you tonight. All right, so I'm going to shift back to the full screen view so you can see everybody who have joining me today. On my screen right now, I've got a new participant, Molly Wakeling. Is that right, Wakeling?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Molly, where are you?
I am in Berkeley, California, or just north of Berkeley.
And you, well, actually, we'll look at your setup in a second after. So hold on, I don't want to ruin this because it's pretty cool what you got on your screen right now. We've got Wade Prunty. Is that right, Wade?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. And where are you located, Wade?
I am in the Dallas, Texas area.
Oh, okay. I've spent a lot of time in that area. That's great. And so you, well, actually, we'll talk about your telescope later on in the show as well. So.
Okay.
And then joining us again, we got Roy Salisbury. Roy, welcome back.
Howdy.
I hope you had a great summer.
I did.
Except for the fire part at the end.
Except for the fires and smoke, yeah.
Yeah. But you're actually at the observatory tonight, right?
I'm actually out here tonight.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, so you can actually like walk over, fiddle with the telescopes as necessary. So I think this is going to be great. And we got, joining us again, we got Linda Thomas Fowler. Linda, welcome back.
Hi, thanks.
And you've shifted your telescope setup as well over the summer, right?
Yeah, I'm in Northern Virginia outside of DC, but my telescope walked a little bit further west into West Virginia.
That's fantastic. Much better skies.
Much better. Like instead of Bortle 7, it's Bortle 2-ish.
And less trees?
Yeah, less trees, and the only thing we have to worry about are the observatory walls.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not going to bother running a telescope tonight because we've got so many great telescopes. So this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, so we've got to hurry because Molly has got Jupiter and it's going to be heading down over the horizon again. So Molly, can you show us Jupiter? So let me see.
There we go. Let me unmute myself.
Yeah.
So I've got Jupiter here on my 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain in my backyard. I'm telling you, it's really nice to have a backyard set up finally after years of driving out to the observatory. So that's been really nice. And actually the seeing and the clouds are cooperating tonight, which is really exciting.
Yeah, no, that looks fantastic. So you, like, it's funny because I was asking you beforehand, like, can you do planetary? And you're like, oh, maybe. I've got to say, this is one of the nicest shots of Jupiter that we've had in the virtual star party. So I think the answer to that is a definite yes. Not only that, there's some features on Jupiter right now.
Yes. Yeah, so we've got the great red spot down there toward the lower right-hand part of Jupiter on your screen, and some of the prominent equatorial bands above it showing some really nice color. And then if you look about in the middle of Jupiter, left to right wise, and kind of in the band that's above middle, you'll see a little black dot. That is a lunar transit in progress. So the moon Ganymede is currently blocking the sun, just like during a solar eclipse here, and we can actually see its shadow moving across the surface of Jupiter. So that's these events happen quite often, but being able to catch them at a time when Jupiter's actually up and it's not daytime takes a little more work, and we just happen to be really lucky tonight.
Yeah, that's amazing. So people who have been following the Star Party for years know that we always have a really hard time with the red spot. The timing has always worked out that it's never visible for us. And so I think this is like the second time we've ever had the red spot visible. But it's really interesting. I mean, you can actually see some different colors. Like, it's not just like darker regions on those equatorial bands, you can really see some of the different shades. Like I almost feel like I'm looking at now that we see the Juno images, right? You can then compare in your mind what you're seeing with these images. It's amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a moment of clearer seeing where you swear you can see some of the detail in the clouds.
Yeah, yeah. And you're recording data, right? Or you were recording some data?
Yeah, recorded 2 data sets already. I'll probably do another one here when the seeing gets nice again. But it actually looks pretty nice right now. So
yeah,
we'll see.
that's amazing. And
Molly, is that an 11-inch SCT?
That's an 8-inch SCT.
8-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually get much better image quality on planets and the moon on my 8-inch than I do on my 11-inch. And I think that has to do with the amount of atmospheric turbulence that is being caught by the 8-inch is a smaller column of disturbed air than for the 11-inch. So I've actually always consistently gotten better images on the 8-inch.
Yeah, those are a great telescope. I mean, they're fairly reasonably priced and can do both wide field astrophotography, but also can do some planetary stuff. It's sort of like a nice balance.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And actually I've got the focal reducer on there right now. So this isn't even as good of magnification as I can get. This is almost little more than half of the magnification that I can get when I take off the focal reducer, but I'm set up for deep sky right now. But
and Gaurav Sharma asks, how did you know that it's Ganymede?
So I took a guess because of I looked at Sky Safari and saw which of the moons was closer to Jupiter right now. I should probably hop on and double check that it's actually Ganymede that's causing the shadow. But I think since Jupiter was at opposition not too long ago, the moon that's closest to Jupiter is probably the one that's given the shadow right now. But I'll go double check.
Right on. All right. So Roy, you screen shared a view to the outside of your
well, I figured I would do my best of planetary, and there's Mars.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. So that's a live view of Mars right now.
That's a live view of Mars right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty high up in the sky. So hopefully by the end of the show as well, we'll be able to get the view, Molly's view of Mars. But so you're like, this is a self-portrait, right? You're in that building right now.
I am in that building right now.
Which I think is pretty funny. Yeah, that's awesome. Right on. So I don't know if there's a way. Okay, all right. So now, Molly, I hate to rush you because that Jupiter was amazing, but I know that we're not gonna get a chance to see Saturn if you don't hurry.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start moving over to Saturn, and I'll let you know when I've got that there.
That'd be terrific. Thank you so much. All right. And then, does anybody else want to share a picture?
Sure.
Okay. Fantastic.
This is M31.
Andromeda.
And it's looking really nice out there tonight.
And so this is a picture you just took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just 2 minutes of luminance data. And this is through a bigger telescope. And then my telescope is piggybacked on the back. We don't have them quite lined up yet, but it has a wider field of view, so you can see a little bit more.
Wait, I don't understand. So you've got like 2 telescopes bolted together?
Yes. And mine's piggybacked on top.
Right.
So this is a 305 millimeter astrophysics Riccardi Honders. Beautiful telescope.
305 millimeter.
Yeah.
That's a very big telescope.
It is. And we found that out when we had to take it off the mount to run cables.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
And
all right.
So it's got some really nice equipment on it.
Yeah.
And it's gives us a great field of view. So my telescope, my little 80 millimeter, is not quite pointed the same direction. We need to shim the saddle to get them to line up perfectly. But,
right.
but you can see the slightly larger field of view from my telescope. So
Yeah.
that's what we got going on there.
Nauta is asking, did you stack the images? That's not stacked, right? That's just a single
No,
frame.
that's just one sub.
Yeah, we don't have time for that. We just we go too quickly. We don't have time to stack. That's something you can do, on your own as homework, I guess. That's beautiful. I love this shot of Andromeda, and you can really see Andromeda is such a tricky object to take a photograph of because on the one hand, you've got that really, really bright core that'll really blow out the image within more than about a minute on a fairly fast telescope. You said this was a 2-minute exposure?
Yeah, this is an f3.8 telescope, so it's pretty fast.
Yeah. But then you also get those dust lanes, and if you look in the image, you can really see those. You can see the sort of the regions where the stars are formed, you can see like knots and clumps and star clusters, and so those darker areas. I mean, they're dark, dust and gas that's obscuring our view to the stars that are inside. They're dust lanes. So that's just an amazing image, and you can see the 2 satellite galaxies around Andromeda as well.
Yeah, one there and one down there.
And it's coming right for us.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just 4.5 billion years.
Yeah, that's all we have to
until
wait.
the big
Yeah.
or rather, nothing is actually going to really hit each other, but it'll look cool, I think.
Yeah.
Slow-mo.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right.
Yeah, that sky in a couple billion years when Andromeda is much bigger should be pretty spectacular.
All right.
Yeah,
Molly,
imagine
that was quick. I'm going to go back to, so see if I can go back to, all right. Well, you know what? Before we do the Saturn, you can see the Saturn there. That looks terrific. But I want to see what Roy's got first, and then we'll shift to Saturn.
That was the elephant trunk that I took a little bit before the star party started.
Oh, nice. I was going to do that one now.
Is that in hydrogen alpha?
Yep, that's a 5-minute in hydrogen alpha.
That looks real nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I love the elephant trunk is a pretty amazing object. So this is, again, you're seeing what looks like this sort of darker region. It's almost like it looks like there's nothing there, but actually that's the gas and dust that's surrounding the nebula that's blocking the stars that are inside that region. And so the newly forming stars will eventually sort of get hot enough, and the intense ultraviolet radiation will blast away and clear out the area around and reveal all the stars that are in that.
And that actual structure is several light years
Yeah,
long.
it's huge.
Yeah. And so it's just hard to imagine just the sheer size of these things, much, much larger than our entire solar system that we're kind of framing in a picture,
Yeah, so good. All right, so let me see if I can see your Saturn now, Molly. All right, perfect. Nice.
Yeah, so we have got Saturn here in the telescope's field of view. The little bit of how it's kind of red on the bottom and blue on the top is just a little bit of chromatic aberration, probably from the corrector plate on the Schmidt-Cassegrain. The seeing is not quite good enough to see, well, at least without me taking off the focal reducer, to see the Cassini gap between the one of the larger separations between the groups of rings. But if I put an eyepiece on there right now, you'd probably be able to see it.
Yeah.
And if you, in the moments of clearer seeing, you can almost make out some of the bands.
I feel like I can see
Saturn.
some banding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There. Wait. Nope. Go back.
Yeah. I should just like pause it or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Pause. Well, and that's the thing. This is live, and so the rippling that you're seeing, this is the atmosphere in between us and Saturn that is distorting the view, kind of like hot air rising off of a road.
Yeah, exactly. Just like if you look over a hot car or a hot roof, see those little tiny ripples. These ripples are a little bit bigger in scale than that, but it's the exact same effect.
Yeah.
And it can also be, my telescope is sitting on a concrete pad, so heat will rise up off of there, or
Yeah.
off of the roofs nearby and add additional disturbances.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So we got some luck tonight.
That's great. And Wade, feel free to share an image whenever you've got one. Just there we go. Right. All right. We'll look at Roy's M13 and then shift over. That is M13, right?
Yes, it is. I was going to say, geez, you know that one by heart.
I really do. Yeah. Yeah.
I have two different images of this. This one was with my monochrome camera,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have one in color as well. I mean, can't really tell color, but.
Well, I think you know which one I would prefer to see.
Okay, well, here's the.
Oh, hold on.
Let me get you the color.
Now we got a sneak preview. We definitely have to get the screen sharing organized. Now we got a sneak preview of Linda's shot, and so one of the things as well, we completely missed the. Oh, there we go. Right, excellent. Yeah, 1,000 times better. I love the color. Yeah. And what I like about this shot is you can see that little galaxy that's in the upper left.
Right up here?
Yeah. And when I was first imaging M13, I was sure that I was seeing a comet. I was like, oh, I've discovered a comet. But it wasn't. It's a galaxy.
You and Charles Messier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he got the main one. You know, he named it, he numbered it after himself, but the other one in the upper left. That's terrific.
That was actually the first deep sky object I ever found on my own.
Oh, nice.
I think me too. Yeah. I think it was M13 and then like the Ring Nebula, I think.
Both of those are so easy to find because of their proximity to really easily recognizable stars.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, Wade. So let's see if I can. So I will try stopping your sharing. No. So the screen sharing takes over. So I definitely. So sorry, Linda. I'm gonna switch over to Wade for 1 second here.
No problem.
And then. So what have you got for us, Wade?
This is the Wizard Nebula.
Oh,
the
excellent.
Nice.
NGC 7380. And you'll catch me peeking at my phone when I call out the catalog numbers because I am fairly new to this and I don't have any of these memorized.
You print off some flashcards or something. You know, just get faster and faster.
So, so this is I'm running this on this is a William Optics Red Cat Space Cat. So it's a 250 millimeter focal length that I'm getting this on. So, and it's a monochrome. So I'm shooting hydrogen right now.
Yeah.
How long's your exposure, Wade?
These are 10-minute exposures.
And that one's on my list to do now that I have nice narrowband filters.
I mean, we missed the whole summer Sagittarius nebulae. So if anyone wants to point their telescope in that direction, that would be.
They're behind my tree already for me,
are they?
unfortunately.
If we had started earlier, I could have gotten you a couple, but
Yeah.
they're set here now.
Well, we'll start. I think now it's getting dark a lot earlier, so I think we can start probably like even an hour earlier next week.
Yeah,
So.
I think so.
Yeah, it's just dark enough an hour earlier
Yeah.
for me to do planets and the moon from here on the West Coast.
Yeah. All right, Linda. So why don't you share that galaxy again?
Sure thing. So sticking to the local neighborhood, here's M33.
Yeah. And so we already saw Andromeda, and so M33 or the Triangulum galaxy is with the Milky Way are really the three main galaxies in the local group, and then we've got about another 60 or so dwarf galaxies surrounding us as well, and though that's it, that's all that's gravitationally bound to us is this galaxy, the one Linda showed before, and then a bunch of dwarf galaxies. And they're all going to merge together into one giant mega galaxy in the far future. And one of the other things that's kind of interesting about M33 is it's one of the few galaxies that we know of that doesn't seem to have a supermassive black hole at the heart of it, which is weird.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Yeah. Well, eventually it'll merge. Yeah, and it'll borrow the Milky Way or Andromeda's black hole. But yeah, and so it's thought that maybe it got kicked out at some point in the past. But absolutely fantastic. And so how long was this exposure?
This is 2 minutes of luminance.
Yeah. So good. And then Molly, I'm sorry to be barking orders here, but
No,
it's
it's
so
fine.
great to have somebody who can do some planetary stuff. Everyone's like, "Can you show us Saturn?" I'm like, no. Yeah. Oh, I feel so bad. But could you show us the moon?
Yeah, let me finish collecting this. I'm doing a data collection on Saturn so I can put out a nice, pretty picture
Sure.
tomorrow. But that'll be another 2 minutes,
Sure.
and then I'll move over to the moon.
All right, no problem. Yeah, that sounds good. Uh-oh. Does nobody got a picture for me?
Give me a minute. Well, actually, give me like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
And look at Saturn
5
again
minutes.
if you want.
Yeah. We'll watch your Saturn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's still running. So there you go.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I missed Saturn.
Yeah, I have a lot of obstructions in my yard, but that was one of the things I was looking at when I was looking for a place to live out here was how much sky I had.
Yeah.
But I do have a really nice view of the southern sky, which is very fortunate. That's where a lot of the goodies are. And straight up above, my northern sky is mostly obscured, but I can still catch something here and there. But, there's a lot less stuff up there, so I'll take the southern sky any day of the week.
Yeah, I would prefer, like, I've got a great view of the northern sky, but I would prefer the southern sky.
There's a lot of stuff to go after.
Kali Yuga is asking, how are the Starlink satellites affecting images? So has anybody gotten a Starlink in their photograph yet?
I have not gotten one yet, but I have seen them while I was at out at a dark sky site.
Yeah. See, I just blame all satellite trails in my images. I just call them
Exactly.
Starlinks.
Okay, yeah, I do get a lot of satellites,
Yeah.
but I haven't gotten like 20 going through at the same time.
Right. Yeah. I've seen the Starlinks with my own eyes once, watching the trail go up.
It was something to see. I saw it probably about 1 or 2 days after launch. They were all still pretty low altitude, and but they were spreading out enough in their orbit that the satellite trail was going from horizon to like 60 degrees up in the sky. It was crazy to see. We had no idea what it was at first, and then realized it must have been Starlink.
Yeah.
But of course, as their orbits boost, they become less naked eye visible, but still certainly visible in telescopes.
And people have been thinking they're seeing UFOs and stuff when they see the trail of
It does. I mean, it looks completely unlike any other like things you're used to seeing, like the ISS or other satellites or meteors, because they don't really look like individual points of light. It looks like an airplane contrail because there's just so many.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the moon while we're chatting here.
Great, awesome, thank you.
I got one for you, Fraser.
Do it. I'm ready.
You can figure out what this is.
It's the Ring Nebula. It's so tiny.
It's so tiny. Let's zoom in a bit.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, that was on one of the things I was gonna do tonight.
Yeah.
Glad somebody else has it.
Sebas 1509 is asking, can we do the Crab Nebula? I don't think it's up.
It's not up till later. Yeah.
Yeah, Taurus is not up yet.
So let me see.
Yeah, if anybody has any ideas for any suggestions, I'm.
Well, can you get any of the Sagittarius stuff, Roy? Like, can you get the Trifid or the Lagoon, or are they all down at this point?
Let's see. Well, I can get M1, so I can get Crab.
Oh, you can get the Crab Nebula?
Yeah, it's.
How low is it?
I guess not.
Yeah, so
I don't
I'm
know what
seeing,
exact time it
like, for
rises.
San Bernardino, the lagoon is about, say, 20 degrees. So for you,
It's -12.
yeah. Yeah, so for you, it's probably
M20
around
might still
15
be up
degrees.
for you.
So just patience. It's a great big globe going around the sun. If you can't see it today, you'll be able to see it in a couple of months. We'll
So
bring it to you.
let's do. Do you want Trifid or Triangulum?
Well, we already did Triangulum, so let's do the Trifid if you can.
Let's see if I got it.
And so
No.
this is great. So with the Ring Nebula, you can see that green nebulosity. The nebula itself is red, and then you get this green in the middle.
Yeah, and that green in the middle is ionized oxygen gas, putting off a kind of a teal blue-green glow from the ultraviolet radiation coming off of the central star.
And that dot in the middle is the dead star, the white dwarf that's
Yeah.
slowly cooling down.
My wall is in the way for that one, so.
Oh no! Okay, all right. Zapfan saying if you see Saturn, then Jupiter should be close. We started with Jupiter, Zapfan. So sorry. You'll have to go back and watch it after the fact. Yeah.
All right, I have got the moon for us now.
Awesome. Perfect.
Oops, let me change the target name here. Still listed as Saturn.
Moon.
There we go.
There you go. Perfect. Oh, that's terrific.
I can zoom in on this as well.
Yeah, well, maybe like go to the Terminator if you can.
Yeah.
But I like the wide angle shot right now. I mean, that's the advantage of having that focal reducer on to give you that big wide field of view. You get the whole moon in one shot. And so once again, this is a completely live view of the moon right now.
Yep. Streaming at 3 frames per second, and then when I zoom in, and well, not really digital zooming in, the frame rate will jump up quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I can zoom in here.
Luke B is saying that the moon is upside down as usual. Yeah. It's possible you might be in the southern hemisphere, Luke, but
let's see, let's find a cool feature near the Terminator. All right, so there's a little crater there. It's half lit. You can see very nicely the I'm sure this has another name, but the cone in the middle, that's some of the debris that rained back down into the crater after the impact, kind of forming a little peak. And those only occur for craters that are of a certain size. The smaller ones don't have those peaks, and older craters can have those peaks be buried underneath of ancient lava flows.
And it's amazing to think about that, right? That you've got this enormous impact on the moon. It's splashing all of this debris up, and then like a drop of water, it's sort of building this central peak in the middle of it, and then it's a pile of rubble, and then it just cools down and then just remains as this central. And these things can be really tall.
Yeah, I was for some of the larger craters, they can be the size of mountains on Earth. You know, they can be just these huge things.
Yeah. Oh, Nancy Graziano is saying that it's International Observe the Moon Night. So,
perfect.
Check. There you go.
Well,
there you go.
We find some other cool
did our
things to
part.
look at. Oh, here's there's a whole bunch of craters up in this area. You can really see the effect of the atmospheric turbulence on something as large as the moon, because you can see light across the whole frame. So you're seeing kind of waves of heat and atmospheric disturbances in the atmosphere, possibly at some higher altitudes as well, as the light makes its way down here.
Yeah, it looks good.
But you still can see some detail in the craters.
Yeah, and that crater on the right there looks great.
Yeah.
Dave, if Dave Dickinson was here, he can often just name them.
Robert Reeves probably can too.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's Copernicus. You're like, how do you know that?
Some of them I've started to be able to recognize as I image the moon more often, and I go look at Sky Safari to see which crater it is that I have imaged. Some of them I've started to learn.
Yeah.
Some of the more major ones, at
That's
least.
next level. Yeah. All right. So we've got Linda's
Here's
cocoon?
the Crescent Nebula.
Crescent Nebula. And it looks like you've got
Yes.
some cloud, maybe?
It's got a lot of background hydrogen there
Yeah.
around the Crescent Nebula. There's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
nebulosity around that whole area.
Yeah,
so-
the whole area.
So the central star is a Wolf-Rayet A star, which
Oh,
is, sending out this huge stellar wind, which is creating this bubble here. And the whole area, if we did a stack of this crescent or bubble would be filled, sitting in a region that's just full of hydrogen alpha gas. So it's in longer stacks, this can be really amazing.
Yeah.
That's
And
so great.
if we had, again, with the narrowband filters, there'd be this little kind of fringe of oxygen around the edge of it that you could see.
Yeah, I like that. A lot of those nebula, I mean, the bright part is part of a much larger complex that you can see, but you have to go, night after night, hour after hour, imaging and slowly building up data.
Yeah. In this case, we've just got 5 minutes of hydrogen alpha.
Pradeep is asking, can we zoom in on Orion? Orion is not up. So if we want to zoom in on Orion, we have to point the telescope at the ground. I'll show you here. So I'll search for Orion.
Give us a couple months.
Yeah. So there it is right there. So there's the ground. Orion is right there. So, but it will move up in a couple of months, and come December or so, we should be able to start seeing it.
I've got Tycho crater.
Oh,
up
there you
here
go.
As well.
A named crater.
Yeah. Let me go get some fast facts on Tycho crater. I want to know how wide it is and how deep it is, and I do not have those things memorized.
That's
53 miles wide. So imagine driving your car. If you're going, if you're going 60 miles an hour, it'll take you almost an hour to cross that entire crater. Which, like, it's huge. It looks so small. And it's 15,000 feet deep. So think of one of like Pikes Peak in Colorado, but all the way down to sea level. And that is how deep this crater is.
That's great, though.
It's estimated to be about 108 million years old is when the impact is estimated to have happened.
So Wade, have you got another image? Because as soon as you have another image, just switch it on your screen, and that way I'll know.
Yeah, I'm working on one right now.
Okay, all right. I just didn't want you to have an image and you were waiting. So just as soon as you have an image, just shift your camera so we can see it.
All right.
Molly said that crater was 108 million years old, and it didn't look a day over 107.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sebas 1509 is asking for M87. No, M87 is not up either. Maybe for Linda, but
Let me check.
the Virgo galaxy. That's a spring.
Yeah, that's going to be way up in the...
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's going to be
Nope.
available yet.
Nope. We got to wait till April. May.
Yeah, that's for sure. It sets at at 8 p.m. So we'll have to wait till it's springtime to see it again.
Yeah, M87 won't be up for maybe about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hal McKinney is asking, has anyone observed a supernova live? Oh, me.
I missed one by 3 days.
Oh, really?
One time. So I was imaging. I was imaging. Let's see, M65 and M66 back in my first or second year of doing astrophotography, and I saw an announcement that a supernova had been discovered in M66. So I went and looked at my data from 2 nights prior, and sure enough, there it was. I went and compared it to a data set I had taken just a month earlier, and there was a little new star there that wasn't there before.
Yeah, so ours was worse than that. We were doing a star party live, and we were looking at, it was in the Cigar galaxy, and it was a supernova. It was going off, and we were talking about how there were often supernovae in that galaxy.
Yeah.
And then about 2 days later, people announced the supernova, and we went back into the data we were gathering during the show, and yeah, there was a supernova right there, and we just didn't.
Nice.
Yeah, and so from this point on, Dave Dickinson will never look at a galaxy without making absolutely certain there isn't a supernova going off. So how is Mars? Do you think you can get Mars?
Let me go double check. I don't think I'll be able to get it for about another 20 minutes.
Okay, all right. So it's
as
probably
it
gonna
peeks
be
out
like
from my
right
neighbor's
at the
garage.
end, right at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Luke is asking if there are any comets up. I don't know if there are any bright-ish comets. We had such a great comet,
Yeah.
a month ago, but we've all moved on from that comet.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody talking about any new ones yet. So keep your fingers crossed. We maybe get another bright one in the near future. Neowise was awesome.
Yeah, that was terrific. It was like the first pretty bright comet that we've had in the Northern Hemisphere in like 20 years.
Yeah, the last one was when I was in elementary school and didn't really know about doing astronomy yet.
Yeah, I know.
That just made me feel really.
I'm
old.
Yeah,
so
I know.
sorry.
I was.
I'm really sorry.
I hadn't quite started Universe Today, but it was like 90. What was it? Hale-Bopp and Hyakutake. They were like 2000, 1999,
Mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
I thought it was 97.
Yeah. So I saw Hyakutake and Hale-Bopp. They were incredible. I mean,
they were amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. I can't, but we haven't had a really bright comet anymore that people have been able to observe. So, all right, I need a picture. Anybody.
I've got one coming, but it's going to be another minute or so.
I've got another crater.
All right.
Yeah.
I got one for you, Fraser.
All right, go. Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess I need to switch targets.
So is that the
Veil Nebula?
is that the witch's broom?
Yeah, that's
This is 5 minutes hydrogen alpha.
Oh, so good.
My color is done for the night with this moon.
Yeah.
Bill Smith is asking if Neowise was the comet that I've been saying the universe owes me. No, the Neowise was fine. Like that was like the universe was like paying the interest on the debt. But no, I need
Completely agree.
a Hyakutake or a Hale-Bopp. I need something serious, a legit comet. So no universe. Try harder.
Yeah, it was still. I had to plan carefully to go see Neowise, and I went camping with my family up in northern Washington State, and we were up near the Canadian border, so it was nice and high in the sky from that far north, and managed to get some really nice shots from up there where it was very dark.
Yeah, it was going we had it just from my back deck. It was just going around and around the North Pole. So it was perfect. It was going around Polaris. And so all night you could just watch it just spin around. And we didn't take any pictures of it, but it was good to see just with our eyes and with the telescope and binoculars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sebastian's asking when Halley's Comet is set to come back. Not till near the end of the century. Like we're in the 70s, I think. 2070s. So, yeah. And so unfortunately
2061.
There you go. Yeah. So hopefully
Hey, maybe I can catch that one.
Yeah. I'll be into my robot body by then. Hal McKinney is asking, how finely incrementing are the tracking motors on the different telescopes that you're all using? Is that a way
I don't
that
really
people
know
measure?
how to put it into like a measurement that would make sense. I mean, it's moving sidereally, so it's moving at the rate that the Earth turns, and it can go slower than that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it can
but it's
track-
kind of the gear is like a screw. It's the worm gear, and it just kind of turns.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, you could shift it back
certainly
and
there's a
forth
lower
by-
limit of electronic accuracy, but
Yeah, I mean, you could shift it back and forth by arc seconds, you know, an arc second or even sub-arc second, probably.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
sub-arc second.
Yeah, so when you think about the whole sky, if you go all the way around the entire sky, it's 360 degrees. And so if you take one of those degrees and you break it up into 60 slices, those are 60 arc minutes. And then you break all those slices into 60 more, then each of those are arc seconds. And then you could go even smaller slices than that. So being able to point the telescope very perfectly. In fact, these telescopes, they'll track either, you can track the sky, but you can also say track the moon.
Yeah.
Because the moon is moving. Yeah, there you go. Jared Marsh is saying that as well in the comments, that you can actually track. Yeah.
So if you look at that picture that I have there of the Veil Nebula,
Yeah.
just to give you an idea, the resolution on that with this camera is about 1 arc second per pixel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on the moon here, I've got a resolution of about 2/3 of an arc second per pixel.
Yeah, that's great. And so the Veil Nebula, that is that's a supernova remnant. So it's one of the largest supernova remnants that we can see from here. It's something that blew up a few thousand years ago, and this is that debris that is just this expanding ring of debris floating through space. I wonder how. I don't know how close it is to the star. Is the star closer or farther from it?
I mean, I think the spatial extent of the Veil Nebula is some number of light years now, I think.
It's a whole complex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the glowing gas isn't, unlike a planetary nebula, it's not actively being ionized by the central star. Instead, this is a shock wave moving through gas in the interstellar medium.
Yeah.
And that's what's glowing, is the shock wave causing the gases to glow.
Yeah. So Sebast 1509 is asking, are the pillars of creation visible from Earth? They are, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, if anyone took a picture of the Eagle Nebula, we would be able to see the pillars, no problem. It's they don't look as good as Hubble's, but you can definitely make them out. And in fact, that the image that Roy had up earlier, the eagle, sort of the elephant trunk, is kind of similar, is a similar kind of object, and so looks very similar. These dark, pillar-shaped structures.
Yeah, even in my small 80 millimeter, the pillars of creation stand out easily.
Yeah, yeah. So
I can. I don't have a live picture of it because it's behind a tree for me. But this is a picture I've taken with my same rig, and you can see the pillars of creation there.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. You can see right in the very middle, and you can see some other objects as well. So Pradeep is asking for Pleiades. I highly recommend, Pradeep, you download, there's a free program called Stellarium, and Stellarium will let you see everything that's up in the night sky. And so you just shift the where the telescope is. I'm not sure where you're located, but we're located in, most of the telescopes are in the west, I guess. Actually, it's sort of across the way, isn't it? From Dallas to the west. And so you can see, for example, I'll do a search for Pleiades.
I can probably get to it.
Can you?
It's quite low, but it is
Yeah.
up.
So it's
Although it's going to
right above the
and people over on
horizon.
the East Coast, it should be higher.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
it's about-
probably can get it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
about 40 degrees for me.
Okay,
as soon as
yeah.
I
Well, then
finish.
you're laughing. Yeah.
Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, excellent. Oh, you're working on Pleiades all this time.
There we go.
Done.
Just
It's like you're reading our mind. That's great. That's a beautiful shot, Wade, and you can see that nebulosity around the stars themselves.
yeah. So with a little more time, I could pull that out, right, and you'd see it really well.
Yeah, yeah. And what I love about Pleiades is this is an example of a star-forming nebula like what the sun formed in. And you
The Pleiades, the nebula you're seeing at the Pleiades is actually a dust cloud that the Pleiades are moving through, and the dust is reflecting the blue starlight from these young stars.
Yeah, yeah. But this is sort of a much younger version of the nebula that the sun and our various companion stars formed within, and then over time the stars blow away all that gas and dust with their ultraviolet light, and then they start to separate away from each other until eventually they're all you don't even know which stars were in the same cluster as you.
So Mars is still behind the garage at the moment, but we're starting to come out from there. So I'm just gonna sit on there until it comes out.
Oh, great. All right, awesome. Oh man, Wade, I'm guessing you didn't take that one right today.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that to.
that's
Um,
all right. We allow past astrophotography every now and then. That's beautiful, man. Wow.
yeah, that was taken with the William Optics scope, and it was the Space Cat, and with a $350 Explore Scientific IXO OS 100 mount.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a combination of 10 minutes and 30-minute subs in there, and it's 103.6 hours total integration.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow. I think that's the same mount that I'm using. I'm using the Explore Scientific mount.
The one behind you,
Yeah.
I think, is a Exos 2
Yeah.
or Exos 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's an
that's a
Exos
great mount. The little bit bigger brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
It also
so-
collects dust.
it's a good mount.
I know
Get
it's
it
a
out.
great mount. Yeah, but it's not as good as a Paramount with the one down in California.
Definitely.
Yeah, with a Rasa on top. So that's terrific. All right, let's see the picture that you took now, though.
So yeah, so that was the. So here's one that I just got done. So that's the Pelican.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, nice.
So that is. Let me see if I can grab a little bit more of that.
So Nuclear Threat 545 is asking, can we show Betelgeuse? We can't. It's down right now, not till wintertime. If it goes supernova, how long will it take for us to see? It's about 660 light years away. So it'll take us about 660 years after it explodes for us to be able to see it. Hal McKinney's asking, are there telescopes set up so someone can rent time and remotely control? Absolutely, yeah. There's a couple of companies that'll let you do that. There's iTelescopes, and there's, I know that Dustin with OPT is starting to work that out. So there are definitely some companies that you can use to just rent time on their telescopes.
I think there's another one called Slew.
Slew, yeah, yeah.
Here's another section of the Veil complex.
Oh, great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's such a big supernova remnant that you can't take one picture of the entire thing. You need to need to grab it in pieces and then stitch it all together, which is a rabbit hole that a lot of astronomers.
And I had taken this. Took this a little while ago, and it was like it's just I didn't get very good because it's not in frame. and I forgotten I just put a rotator on my telescope,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I was able to
nice.
actually rotate it to get it in frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've gone after it with a camera lens before, 100 millimeter, 200 millimeter focal length. And I don't have a nice enough camera lens because like there's so many stars in that area. The stars tend to dominate the image, but I'm saving up for a fancier one so I can get that whole thing and other large objects in one frame.
So Mike has a challenge for you, Molly. Can you zoom in on the microbes in the clouds of Venus? Yeah, while you're doing planetary work tonight, can you image the microbes on Venus?
Yeah, I don't think my resolution is quite that good.
Right. Yeah. And Venus isn't up right now for you, so that's also
Yeah, it
part of
doesn't
the
come up
problem.
till like 3 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be handy though. It would really save us a lot of time to find out whether or not there's life on Venus. Oh, it's so good. Excellent. All right, we got like a little more time. I think we will sort of go to the end of the hour, but just waiting on that Mars. Do we have to knock a building down? What do we have to do, Molly?
Yeah. I had to set up the telescope. Like there's places I could set up in my backyard that are like where I could see a little more in that direction, kind of around the garage.
Yeah.
But then I would lose other parts of the sky. So I kind of had to go with the best fit for not losing too much of the southwest. Or because I have all these, there's a fence and there's a garage and there's a tree and there's my house. It's a very small backyard, because I'm in the Bay Area here. So work with what I got.
Yeah.
But it's still taking its way into the frame here.
Someone's asking for IC 1385. What is that? Magnitude 18.25. That sounds like a rough object to try and image.
It's a little dim.
Yeah, a little faint for most telescopes to try and do in a 30-second,
for a
1 minute
live
exposure.
session, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty faint. All right, good night, Luke. And yeah, I'll say hi to Cody for you.
So I'm pretty much clouded out now. Fraser.
Oh no!
It's everything I'm shooting through. I'm shooting through clouds.
All right.
So I figured I would just leave you with what it was that took all these.
I did go and check. It was Ganymede's shadow that
good.
we were seeing on Jupiter.
Oh, so you're just going with your gut and
yeah.
Yeah.
Sky and Telescope publishes on their website when the transits are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So there's my last shot. There's the equipment.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's fantastic. And the moon.
Yeah.
And the moon.
Yeah. Stupid moon.
Yeah, I'll be imaging in narrowband for the first half of tonight. Once I go swap my cameras back. I usually have the color camera over on my refractor and then my monochrome camera over on the Schmidt-Cassegrain right now.
Yeah.
So I got to swap the cameras back.
Yeah. Pretty, you're asking for telescopium?
Telescopius?
Telescopium? Yeah, I think we're looking at telescopium right now. No, telescopium is down right now. So Pridefolds is saying that Mars is visible in Vancouver, not much else. Yeah, Mars is so bright. So we're nearing the opposition of Mars is in about another 3 weeks from now, when the Sun, Earth, and Mars are all nicely lined up in a row, and it gives us these, the biggest, brightest views of Mars. And even in a small telescope, you can see the polar caps, the darker regions on the surface of the planet. So whoa, Ray Spring is asking, would it make sense to say that the frame of reference of the CMB is best qualified for being considered the rest frame of the universe? No.
No.
No, it's not. The problem with looking at the cosmic microwave background is that no matter where you are in the universe, you're seeing a different cosmic microwave background. You're seeing the photons that left that point in the universe and took 13.7 billion years to get to you. And then 1 minute later, you're seeing light from a light minute farther away. And 1 year later, you're seeing light from 1 light year farther than that. And so there's no independent reference frame. That's what relativity is all about. Al McKinney's asking, is there such a thing as an amateur grade radio telescope? Will a radio telescope see through clouds? So radio telescopes can be used in the day and they can see through clouds. And yeah, there are amateur grade radio telescopes. You can actually go online and there's tutorials on how to build them. A lot of people will take like old satellite dishes and modify them or use like aerial antennas, things like that. The problem with a radio telescope is all you're going to be able to get is 1 pixel. So when you point your amateur radio telescope at some object in the sky, you're just going to get amount of radio noise, and then you move a little bit over and then there's like less radio noise or more radio noise. So you don't make pictures in the same way that you do with a telescope. But it's still a totally worthwhile hobby to get into if you want to. And lots of people don't use their great big 8-foot satellite dishes anymore. So you can get your hands on one and build a radio observatory.
Do you want me to attempt to see if I can get Neptune in the view?
Yeah, if you can.
Mars is taking its sweet time here. We'll see what I can get. Up that exposure time.
Oh, and Wade, you've got another shot
Yes. I got the Eastern Veil.
there. Oh, great.
She doesn't get as much love as the other half of her, so as the Western. So I figured I'd bring her up.
It's weird that collapses down. Strange. Oh, it's nice to see the colors coming in.
Yeah, so this is the this is a Rasa 8-inch, and it's the ASI 533 one-shot color on there.
Right. Much faster. Sorry, how long was the
This is a
exposure on
2-minute exposure.
2-minute exposure? Yeah. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's one of the depending on what focal length you shoot it at, it can be one of the toughest targets to process.
There are just so many stars in that part of the sky.
Yep, yes, exactly.
that
Okay,
are like getting really bright, and so it's hard to sort of pick a sort of like a nice balance between nebula and stars.
Yeah, when you stretch the image, the stars tend to bloat and it just gets nasty quickly.
Right. So shorter exposures stacked up with a lot of.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So it's I don't have any detail on it because it's very small and very far away, but I do have Neptune.
Let's
if
do
you
it.
would like to look at that.
That's
All right.
fantastic.
There we go.
It's blue.
It's blue.
It is blue. that's one of the cool. It's like even though you're not going to be able to see any detail on it in a amateur telescope for the most part visually, but when you look at it visually, you can see that it's that teal blue, and then you're looking at Neptune, and Uranus is much the same way, and it's really cool because those are you just don't see those as often at star parties. And,
Yeah.
things like that. But Neptune is relatively bright right now, I think. So
Yeah, I don't think that's what Carl Sagan meant by a pale blue dot. But
All right. Well, I think we've reached the end of our hour. So I
I've
think
got one last one.
you got
for
one
you.
last
It's kinda-
picture. Yeah, let's do it.
It's kind of faint there, but there's the California Nebula. It's hard to pick up in one sub, but
Yeah,
it,
that's fantastic. I like it.
Roy kept stealing the targets I was trying to acquire, so I'd go for something he couldn't get.
We should get more organized, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
And there's one last thing I can share, which is we were talking about the Western Veil. This was the latest image I did, which was the Western Veil in narrowband that
Wow.
I just finished.
What processing?
This
car
is
mapping?
an HOS palette in PixInsight.
So I've never seen it that way. That
Yeah, I've
looks
never seen
really
it either
cool.
like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to do the conventional Hubble palette, so I went with this.
What focal length is that?
480 millimeters.
Now, Linda
Nice.
recently gave a talk on the Astro Imaging channel about using other color palettes besides the Hubble palette and some of the different things that it can do for you and show you and make some really intriguing images from.
Super
Yeah,
cool.
and this is the same data, but without the hydrogen processed as an HOO. So
Right, right.
a little more conventional looking.
Yeah.
Are you using morphological transformation to pull the stars out?
On this one, yes. On this one, no. On this one, I used StarNet to separate out
Okay.
stars from the nebula, and I stretched them differently and then recombined them.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, I know it's late for some people in the on the east, so although you're astronomers, you can handle it. I'm such a lightweight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Let me see if I can put everybody up on the screen now. Let me see. There
Yeah,
we
and
go.
I'm not going
Yeah,
to get
there we
Mars
go.
tonight, unfortunately. It's still behind the garage.
No problem. No problem.
Next time.
You don't have a crash filter?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, wait.
It comes in a kit with the cloud filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. This was a lot of fun, and having some new people join us tonight. You got to feel the pressure of being of my just like relentless need to see more images. So you guys did great. Thank you so much for joining us. So Molly, if people want to follow more of what you're doing, where can they go?
So I am Astronomolly Images. So if you go onto Facebook and search for Astronomolly, you'll find me there. I'm on Instagram as Astronomolly_images.
Yep.
And I have a blog, astronomolylog.blogspot.com.
Terrific. Linda, where can people find more of your images?
They can find them on my website, lindasastronomyadventures.space, or you can find me on YouTube at Linda's Astronomy Adventures, or on Astrobin if you look for AC4LT, my amateur radio call sign.
All right. Wade.
I'm on Instagram at Wade Prunty, and I stream on Wednesday nights on the Clear Skies Network on Twitch.
Right on. And Roy.
I don't do any of that stuff.
No. You have a website for your observatory, though. I've seen it.
I have for my observatory, but I haven't updated because when we did this before, it was all on Google Plus.
Yeah.
So I had all my images on there, and I didn't worry about a website.
Right.
Now I got to put them all back on my website.
Right. Well, you can put them on Instagram or whatever. It's all right. Just save them for us. That's totally fine, too. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us again for the Virtual Star Party. I hope you had fun. It was great to see Neptune. That was a surprise. How wonderful was that? So planet season. So we're going to hopefully get a lot more planets for the coming weeks. Lots more deep sky objects as we move into the fall objects. So there's a lot of great stuff to see over the coming months. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Nancy Graziano for organizing everything. I know you were pulling your hair out for the last couple of weeks trying to fight the smoke to try and bring the episode, bring the Star Party in. So we really appreciate all of your help. Thanks for everyone watching. Thanks for the mods. And we'll see all of you next week, next Saturday.
Night.